What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Not a Sheep podcast. My name is Matt Mogg. Today, I'm joined by the one and only Caleb Mitchell, but the other Caleb Mitchell with the C, legendary audiovisual Caleb, and the one and only jpxprince.
What's up, guys?
What's up, boys? If you don't know these two, they are some of the best producers and designers that I know. If you've ever seen my artwork, it's pretty much all done by these two. But guys, how are we doing this fine evening?
It's snowing, so great.
I'm doing good, bro. I'm wrapping up a school semester. About to take finals and then get out there and make music all break.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what we do. But let's just jump into things, guys. It's the end of the year. When this episode comes out, who knows what it'll be, but we just had Spotify Wrapped Day. And so from a listener perspective, what were some surprises you guys saw?
Dude, let me pull mine up real quick. So Caleb, you hop in.
Yeah, I gotta do mine too.
You got that Apple Music though, don't you?
He's got the Apple Music replay.
Hold on. It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good. Just in terms of like diversity.
Okay.
So
biggest surprise. I already got it. This was played as a meme at work over the summer, but it's Rich Minion by Yeet is like top 5 for me.
Banger.
No way.
Nothing
That's
wrong
so
with
funny.
that.
Absolute slapper.
There is something wrong with that.
There's something wrong with JP.
And I got a whole lot of Tate McRae up there. So
Nothing wrong with that.
her album was crazy, but yeah.
No fire.
I got Don't Leave Me Alone by Bozzy and Laney, which dropped at the end of the year, which shows you how much I streamed.
I love that song too. Yeah.
I got Oxygen by Logan.
Logue. Shout out to Logue.
Yeah, those are the most surprising ones, probably. Got a little Jack Harlow, got to represent Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky boy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all the interesting stuff that I see.
Yeah. Caleb, what about you?
Okay, so I kind of stopped listening to music this latter half of the year, and it super shows because Levi Hinson dropped a bunch of projects at the beginning of the year, and that's all that shows. So I got Rome from Warlords, and then I have basically every single song off of Thanks for Nothing too, and that's my entire top 10. So
Fire.
Yes.
Pretty.
Wait, what do you mean you stopped listening to music?
I just haven't genuinely listening to music hasn't interested me at all. And so every time I try to listen to something new, it just, doesn't feel appealing or whatever. I think there's a moment where I started listening to UK rap pretty heavily for a month, and that was maybe in August, but I haven't been listening to basically music. Maybe an album will drop, but I'll listen to it once and then that'll be about it. So
he's just been listening to ASMR of people eating chips and stuff.
Bro, nothing wrong with that. Once again. Dude, is there ASMR music? People that whisper and stuff?
That's literally what lo-fi is, I swear.
Lo-fi ASMR
I disagree,
music.
But I don't know. When people whisper, Matt, in your song with that Pop Smoke line, you whisper like that. I mean, I feel like that's kind of close. Yeah.
Okay. You go on a first date and she's a content creator. We're taking OnlyFans out of the equation. What's the biggest red flag? Rapper? No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, why is that why for people that make music is it a plus if she could help promote though? Is that a green flag?
Dude,
what do you mean by promote?
If you were both content creators in a relationship, is that what you're saying?
Stuff and I guess, yeah, she might not be into helping you though if she's got her own thing, but.
No, I know what you mean.
But it could be a mutual thing. I'll record for you and you record for me, and then it's I have my section and you have yours.
Yeah, no cap. Titus's video quality has gone up since he got married. I'm not gonna lie.
Why do you think he got married, bro?
Just saying.
No, but think about Connor Price and his wife. She's his manager, basically. That's a whole different level of it. But
Sure.
Yeah, bro.
he said that she helps him come up with like all their video ideas and stuff like that. I think just having people around that want to make content with you can help you or make music
Mhm.
with you. Like we always talk about this, but if we had like other roommates trying to do music, how much
Facts.
more creative and productive we'd probably be because
Oh
we'd
yeah.
just be living around it all the time. But yeah, so basically when we're looking for a wife, we're looking for content creators.
This is wrong.
There's nothing wrong with
Incorrect.
this, Caleb.
Matt, there's a few steps you gotta take before you're looking for a wife, bro. You
Yeah, you're right. I got to go viral first.
you jumping the gun.
I'm joking.
Matt's
That's
got a
joke.
checklist with one item that says content creation question mark.
Content create. Can she hold a camera though?
Hmm. She
Okay.
needs one of those like swivel.
Yo, yeah. But guys, we've been talking a lot about content, like between the three of us the last couple of days. And I'm an artist. You guys are producers, but you also put out your own music.
Yeah.
What is stuff that has helped you guys this year start to grow? And what are things you want to do next year differently from this year?
I think something that I realized in like the latter half of the year is that starting off every project, I think like researched, and that doesn't necessarily have to be a lot, but like starting off with a vision of like, this is what I want to do and in the direction, and this is like how I want to do it, has allowed me to make things that I think are a lot better and the things that like people like a lot more than me just sitting down like, okay, I'm going to spend time today to create, which can be good, but also at the same time is when I sit down and I have like a specific vision, I'm like, this is how I want to do this, it always ends up turning out better, I think.
So that's cool. Do you mean like setting goals, like an end goal for what you're working on?
Kind of more of like kind of developing in my own mind of being like, this is the direction. So like with one of my projects, in a day and an evening, I like sat down and I was like, this is the type of music I want to make, and then this is like how I want to do it. And it didn't mean that I was going to sit down right then and there and make it. Like I had time. Like I spent over a year like working on different versions of it and stuff. But then I just sat down on one day, and I was like, okay, I have all my resources around me, and so I'm going to do it. And then I guess that's just how it turned out really well, and I'm really happy that it did. So
That's dope. Yeah, yeah. JP, I don't know how much of that you got with the disconnection, but what are some things that helped you grow this year and things you want to improve on for next year?
Yeah, definitely a lot to improve on, especially with it being my first year really dropping music consistently. I think what helped me a lot was a lot of good timing. So like a lot of work went into like the first half of the year, and then a ton of it just came to fruition, like and dropped all at the same time. Like August was crazy. It was like 10 songs. And so just like putting in the work on the front end is really what helped me. And also just building connections with people and just dropping music with them. I can't drop music on my own, so I need the co-release type thing. So really a lot of it is just shout out to people that were willing to work with me. Um improvement Improvement's definitely promotion, because like being in front of the camera is not necessarily like my go-to thing. So um I definitely need to work on that, and just like that sort of content is really what's pushing music, and I've never seen myself as a content creator, just a music or art creator. So got to work on that, but it's kind of like a necessary evil type thing, something you got to
Yeah.
learn.
Do either of you guys see yourself making content more like in front of the camera, kind of branding it around your personality more, sort of like producers like Kato on the track?
For me, I see that as like kind of a hard thing, because like part of what's appealing about being a producer is being like a behind the scenes guy. So definitely not like the easiest thing for me to do, but I do think it is the best thing for promotion.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, I super agree, because it's like I think neither JP or I think there was a point in time where we both recognized that we like music, but we're not going to be like rappers. And I don't know if we super have the like uh, personality that is like extroverted enough to be the type of person in front of cameras, and not that all
Right.
artists are, but um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard to do content creation in that way when you are like this type of person who's not necessarily you know used to being in front of the camera. So
No, that makes sense, which is actually kind of rare. One of the things you said, because I feel like most producers I know like wanted to be a rapper and then they started making beats to support their rapping. And then they're like, actually, I'm better at this. I'm going to stick with the beats. Um, and was that the case for either of you guys, or was it just, I want to make beats from the jump?
No chance, bro. I never wanted to rap. It was kind of like a thing where like in high school, like Titus started rapping on like the Rap Chat app,
Oh
and
yeah, same.
I was literally like, I can make better beats than that. And so I just like taught myself on this website called Audio Tool. And then I finally bought Logic and it turned into a thing. But I don't think I ever
He
really,
bought
I don't
Logic.
really love like my voice on recording. So I don't know. I don't think I really ever had a phase where I wanted to rap personally.
No, that makes sense. Caleb, what about you?
I definitely did, but I think my music was like never like I tried rapping like twice, and I said, no, this isn't like I there's no way. You kind of like have a sense, and you're like, no shot. And so, but like I had, I did feel a little bit like better towards like production, even though I'm not even now confident in my skills a whole lot, but like you know, that's where I leaned. So
No, I'm laughing because I felt the same way when I was doing rap chats in high school. I was like, this is so bad and I'm never going to show anyone, but I'm going to keep doing this. And then eventually I'll show people. And then I did that for like a couple years. And then I showed people and it was still really bad. And it took a long time. And now I'm
Yeah.
just like, not that bad. So like we're checking off boxes and we're going to keep going up to the top.
It's the goal.
That's the goal. But no, that's hilarious. And yeah, for people that don't know, me, JP, and Caleb work with Titus a lot. We work with Roscoe a lot. Those are like our homies. But and JP was mentioning Titus because they kind of started in music together.
Yeah.
And JP, one of the things you always talk about is like you don't want to be someone that's chasing like the biggest placements with the biggest artists. Like that'd be cool if it happens, but you're more focused on finding artists at a similar level to you and building with them.
Yeah.
What kind of made you want to do that, and like how's it been going for you so far? If that makes sense.
A big part of that is like I think I see long-term success as being an artist like go-to producer. And then that can kind of like you got to build vertically, and then that will like kind of laterally connect you with maybe bigger artists. Whereas if you like get this random placement, it's like the person who you got the placement with might not even know that you produced it because like someone else sent them the beat, and like it would be
Yeah.
cool, but I don't really see like long term, like consistent, like success coming from that. And so I also think there's just a more genuine sense of building something with somebody. And I just personally enjoy that sort of challenge or that sort of way to go about it, just building something from the ground up with an artist rather than like kind of, hanging on the coattails of someone that's big. So
No, that definitely makes sense because it's like if you're someone's go-to, that's guaranteed many placements a year or whatever you want, however you want to look at it. Like it's a deeper relationship. It's going to be more songs. It's going to be probably better songs when you've worked with them so many times.
yeah.
But Caleb, you've kind of like, I mean, like you work with all of us in our group chat, and you also work with a bunch of other people. Do you kind of look at things the same way?
Uh, kind of, but also not really because I don't think I never try to. I get bored, I think, too easily, and it's definitely my fault because sometimes I get too picky, and I just want to explore different avenues and stuff. And so that has, I think, a little bit in a way prevented me from like finding an artist who has like a vision or a path that kind of matches up with my own, because I'm always like changing. Um, so it really just puts me in kind of a mindset where it's like, you know, I'm really down to work with whoever, whenever, however it may be, because I don't necessarily have that like tie that is like, consistent in any way. Um, but like the way that JP is saying, when you do have like a group of friends or whatever, or like a support system of people who you invest in and invest in you, I think things come a lot easier in like getting yourself out and around. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense. No, I like that a lot. How do we talk about funny things?
we just talk about your album.
Oh, we could. I don't know if that was supposed to be a diss, but
It was not.
Something I was
mean, it is
actually gonna
now.
say. The thing I was actually gonna add to that was, it's weird because with music, artists and I'm sure producers too are so like, you go through phases of like, I only want to make pop songs right now. I only want to make bangers right now. I only want to make rap songs right now. I remember there was a time, like in the summer, like Titus and Roscoe were like in a big pop lane, and JP was producing all these pop beats for them, going crazy. I was like being all depressed and working on my R&B album that's like super slow and sad. And then like, I don't know, it can be kind of like, even though we all work together, it's weird because I went through a phase where I was like only really making one sound, and like no one else was really making that sound in our group chat. So I was kind of like on my own, but then I'll go through a phase where I'll like rap on 10 JP beats in like 5 days. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. Do you guys ever feel like that way creatively, where right now you're just only in the mood to make like one thing, and it's kind of hard to make a variety of stuff?
Yeah, I definitely do like have those streaks of creativity. Um uh there'll be times where I'll hear something that like super inspires me, and I was like, "Oh, I want to like learn about this." And like I'll drive really hard in that one direction. Um and that would be like, if I hear a snare that I really like, or like a new genre. Like I think that happened during when like hyperpop started. I got really interested in that for a moment, or just the sound of like boom bap or sample chops or whatever it may be, that I just turn my head towards for a little bit. So
No, yeah, that makes sense. Um, what was I gonna say? Of all the artists you worked with, because you definitely had a variety of a sound. What was your favorite song you worked on with an artist this past year?
I mean, there's some unreleased stuff that as unreleased stuff goes, sometimes those things kind of become like legend. It's like, oh, everybody knows that. And so there was one of those that I think like hit kind of a sweet spot. But then the other one that comes to mind is one I worked with an artist from my hometown. And it was like the best like single that I think I worked on, and it did like better than the rest of them. And so that was called Eyes Like Static, and I was really proud of like my chop on that and the way that I did the drums. And then like there was a little bit of post production by the artist I work with, J Mac, and so like I was pretty proud of that one, just because it like I think because it did well, and I think we shot like a video for it, and I was just happy with how it turned out in total. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's a really good song. You said that was your top song, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's dope. What are some things it could be as a designer or a producer, that annoy you when you're working with an artist?
Uh, as as a designer, it's got to be revisions, which are just like, I mean, that's just annoying. Like, it just stinks. Like when you work on something and then it's not just revisions overall, because I do understand like people do have like certain preferences, but it's when you get revisions after they gave no input, or they said just do your thing. like when an artist is like, hey, I trust you, just do your thing. And then you do your thing and they don't rock with it at all. And they basically want you to start from the beginning. That's what's annoying to me.
Dude, yeah.
As a producer, I can't think of anything that's like super annoying. But I don't know. Did y'all hear that?
No, yeah, I did.
No. Yeah.
Caleb, what do you think?
That's 100% like correct. I think in terms of like designer stuff, I worked on a project this summer. It was like early summer, I think, where I did like, maybe 30 revisions. And it got to the point where I was like, I'm going to stop charging for revisions. I'm just going to do whatever you want. And I'm going to do it as fast. Like, I just don't care anymore that you don't like have any design sense. And it's like, this is going to look bad. And I just don't even care that it looks bad because we've gone back and forth so many times, which kind of sucks. And like Kevin Hackett sent a post or like sent an image in our group chat that was like I love that my client is a better graphic designer than me or something like that. And, I think that like perfectly encapsulates that frustration. So
that's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I know what you guys mean. I don't mix for other people like a whole lot, but when I do, it can definitely get like that where they're like, this needs to change, this needs to change. And I'm like, this is objectively bad. And
yeah.
I feel bad putting my name on it, even though as an engineer, like that's probably the least looked for credit, like even after like who did the cover art. And so I can't imagine. I'd probably feel pretty embarrassed if they were like, nah, change this. And then it's just none of the creative decisions you put into it are actually in the final product.
Yeah, it's super frustrating.
For sure.
We just keep bringing up your album again.
Bruh.
Keep bringing up my album.
Did we just announce the album on the podcast?
No, I've definitely
You announced it on a song.
I've definitely announced it on a song. I've said it in posts. That's kind of all there is to do with announcing. Like, I mean, I can make more clear and better posts announcing it, which is what I'll do.
He hasn't set up like it's coming out on this date.
FTSOLG.
I don't know what that is. STLO.
FTSOLG.
Yeah, FTSOLG. Yeah, that's correct. That means something, guys. Try to solve the mystery.
Solve the riddle.
Actually odds are it's not coming out this month.
I freaking knew it.
What?
Well, okay. The thing that's currently pending, I don't know. Maybe I'll get that verse back tomorrow, but
that'd be amazing.
Odds are, and I don't want to rush the person that's helping me with this project a lot. He still has one song to help me mix, and I've been messaging him, and he hasn't really gotten around to it. So I don't want to push him, but I don't know. I have 3 more singles to release. It's currently December 2nd. And then I got to drop the album. That'd be every Friday from here on out.
I mean, I definitely think you could do it.
None of the singles are done.
Oh, man.
The first
Speaking
one
of single.
just needs the yeah. Speaking of single. You have something to say to me, JP? I am single.
Oh, gosh.
I think when you listen to this album, you're going to really know that I'm single.
I think you're going to be single every week until the end of the year.
Well, it's December 2nd, so I'd take that if that meant.
I'd take Matt says bet. 1 more month? Okay, I can do that.
I could put up for 1 more month. But no, I mean, I don't know. You guys helped me a lot on this album. Like, I told Caleb about this project a long time ago, like over a year ago.
I think it's gone through a lot of different iterations too.
Yeah. No, literally the title I came up with in 2020 for a different project. And then I was like, I like this title, but it doesn't fit the project I was actually working on. And then I just kind of sat with it for a while and thought about what I think it actually means. And then I started making these other songs. It started with My Word, which was a song I put out last year. And I wouldn't have put it out at all, actually, but I found an old demo I made and sent it to Caleb. And Caleb was like, that's fire. You should drop it. And I ended up dropping it. And now it's like one of my favorite songs I dropped last year.
And
Um,
when you sent it to me, it was like packaged with like 4 or 5 different other songs that are all still incredible, and I wish could see the light of day, but I don't know if they ever will. So
oh, you're talking about the SoundCloud little
yeah.
project.
Mm-hmm.
JP, I don't know if you remember that, but I basically
Yeah.
had a bunch of like, excuse me, like half done songs. And I was like, I like all these ideas, but none of them are done. And like pitched them down and like threw reverb on them and just put
Yeah.
it on SoundCloud because I was like super sad at the time. And I just put it out. And like low key like half of them turned into this album. And
Mm-hmm.
the other few are like other songs that I finished for after this album. Like normally I'm like, I'll make a song and put it out like a couple weeks later. But for whatever reason, the last like 8 months, I've been very like hanging on to songs for a long time and working on them and going through different variations. And I don't know if that's for better or for worse, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But
When I think all the music you put out this year, you have like made like it the weeks before, and then it like comes out pretty quickly afterwards.
right, which is weird because all the music that's about to come out was like made before all the music had dropped this year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah.
I was working on it for so long. But like with collabs, a lot of the times, like the other artist wants to put it out. And so it's kind of, you find
Yeah,
a
you
happy
gotta be
balance
cool with
for
that.
both of you. Yeah. And so this is like, this album has features, but it's mostly solo songs. And so it's more of like my creative project versus the singles I'm going to drop afterwards are like other creative songs, but more so songs that I'm going to try to push on social media. This is like an album I'm doing for me, if that makes sense. But yeah, JP, you helped me with this album. You got a couple production credits on it.
A little
And
something.
and I definitely like anytime I had like an indecisive question would either text you or Logue. And like, I don't know if it actually helped me come up with better solutions or not, because like half the time I just couldn't make up my mind on things.
Nah, bro. I love that little group chat that we made with Logan, where it's like Matt's just pitching his album to us and like trusting us to be honest with him about all of it and asking us specific questions. And I think I got two production credits on it.
At least, yeah.
One of them is just a beat that I sent that I love. It's super different though. Matt slid, and then the other we kind of like reproduced and did a little something with the acapella, which I think turned out crazy. But
Yeah. Something that we started doing recently that I really like is I'll find a loop or I'll chop up a sample, I'll send it to you, and then you'll produce basically the whole record from there. And I don't know, it's really cool because I'll hear a sample and I'll kind of hear an idea, but then you flip it in a different way. And I don't know, it always leads to more creative things. Like we did that on Hallelujah, which is a song we put out last June or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, dude, I think personally for me that's always like, because when I'm making a beat, the big question for me is not like what do I do next? I just do what I hear. It's when do I stop? Like when do I stop adding sounds? Like at what point is this too much? At what point is it too little? When you're working with an acapella, you know exactly like how much more you should add, and like because you're hearing the full song altogether. And so like with Hallelujah, it was like just busy enough to where it sounded crazy, but it wasn't like, you know, way too much going on. And I think we did that with I'll say VWU.
Yeah. One of the songs on the album.
I noticed that you even put a little, I heard this the other day, you put a little hi-hat in the background, like a two-step.
I just added it a little bit. Yeah, just barely in the mix.
Which I didn't notice it, but it's like those little things that you know, when you hear the full song together, you can really create like a full thing that just sending beats out isn't quite the same. So that's another thing I like about working with artists and not working for placements. So.
Yeah, you did a lot of like post-production. Like I feel like a lot of the songs we put out this year, like Bingo even, you made a beat, Titus got on it. I got on it. We got 350 on it. And then we sent you like,
Yes.
I had the files. I like, I didn't, or I just had the 2-track. I set up the song, structured it, sent you the acapella. You went back in, started adding beat
Yes,
cuts,
bro.
started adding stuff like that.
Bro.
And didn't you say you kind of got inspired by that idea from like, wow, Eli said it in one of his videos or something?
Yeah, bro. Producers, if the artist is cool with it, get them to just send you the acapella because you don't need to make like the mix perfect or anything. But there's so many little things you can do. And yeah, I think I did hear this idea. Like I thought of it before, but I think I was almost like too scared to actually ask an artist for it. I felt like it would sound like disrespectful. But Eli mentioned it in one of his beat breakdowns, and he's like, "Yeah, I got whoever to send me their vocals, and then I added this crazy drop." And I'm like, "There's no way you could add that like when you're just making the beat because you don't know how it's gonna drop in like that."
Mm.
And so like it's just a great idea, and I would recommend any producer if the artist is comfortable with it, just like if y'all decide this song is good enough to potentially drop, have them send you the acapella and don't go too crazy with it, but just add in little things that that will kind of accentuate the whole song and make it sound cleaner and more full.
Yeah, it makes it sound like a song versus a rap over a beat, in my opinion. Also,
Yeah.
for artists, if you're, say, you're just buying a beat from someone and you don't have a relationship with the producer or you're getting it off YouTube or something, if you can get the stems, like learn how to do it yourself. Like you can add little beat cuts yourself if you just go through and edit the stems, but that can make like a big difference. Just adding the smallest
A
little
hundred
beat cuts
percent
or yeah, like at the end of a verse pulling all the drums and just leaving the melody or even the reverse of that. You can get creative with it. But or just listen to songs and listen to how
Facts.
your favorite artists would structure it, like where they put beat cuts or if they do the like Pharrell 4-bar count in kind of sound, like all sorts of stuff like that can make a big difference.
Yeah, one thing this might be stupid, but one thing I like to think of is like if I was at a show, what would make the crowd like go crazy at a certain part? So I really like to cut off like I guess it would be like the first quarter bar on the last hook or something like that, where everything builds up and you know, like you're at the show, you know the last hook's coming in. And then it's like nothing and the artist is performing and then it all comes in at one time. Uh, but that's just personal preference. But like I don't know, you could ask yourself that question if you're a producer, like what would go crazy at a show and make this like hit really hard?
That's so funny because so in Alaska, me and Jordan Richard have this unreleased song that JP produced called ATL Freestyle. I'm sure it'll come out at some point, but um, there's this fire cut that Logue actually put in Jordan's
Yeah,
verse.
crazy.
And when we were in Alaska, they were kind of worried about when the sound guy was setting up and the power is something not like of the building but of the speakers and stuff would cut out. And during my set, like twice, the the sub would cut out. And like the other speakers had no like low end at all. And
Yeah.
so it cut out on that part of the song on the drop. So you didn't hear it cut out. And then it was like everyone got all hyped because they heard the beat cut out and then it dropped and people just kind of looked around. It was, I don't know, it was really awkward, but no, like had it actually dropped like it was supposed to, people would have gone crazy. But that's the kind of things like also just thinking about your song from a live perspective. One of the things because Titus and I got to perform a couple times this year, and the thing we noticed is songs that are 125, 135 are the best tempo if you want the crowd to jump.
Yeah.
And I realized I only make songs in like 90 to 100 BPM, which is like the worst tempo.
It's like trying to jump to a 90 like 95 BPM song is like jumping in slow motion and it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so funny. That's when you got to get the arm waves.
No, some guys can do it though, because I've seen people do to like at like concerts for Miles Minnick.
Yeah.
They'll just be jumping like super high and and then like when Jude performs, he's got some songs that are like 90
Definitely.
BPM, like trap
Definitely.
songs. And we like bounce to them. You don't even think about it, but that's because he's like a super energetic performer.
You
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 have
either
you
have
have to
to
have that.
you either have to land like so fast that you're like, you know what I'm saying, where you got the mic and you're like just going with it, or you have to do the Miles Minnick, like just get that vert. You
The
know,
vert. You have to jump like 4 feet in the air.
literally. Like I don't know if you remember at Manic when Dan Moore and Jude did World.
World. Yep.
Everyone jumped so high to try to catch the beat, and then everyone was landing at different points, and it was like the song went crazy like the first drop, but then everybody was like, "Wait, I don't know how to stay on beat to this."
Yeah, it really depends. Cause like, so JP, if we were to do back and forth our song, that's one where you would have to
Yeah,
just like jump high because it's not like super fast. But like, I don't know. Stuff like a Jude song, like High School Never Really Ends is like that same kind of tempo, but you like you
yeah,
double time bounce to it. It's so funny
Mm-hmm.
how that
for
works.
sure.
Yeah. I don't know. One of the things I've been thinking about a lot when performing is, do I want to be still and try to like give a really good performance vocally? Or do I just want to like have vocals in the track and kind of yell over it and make my focus getting the crowd into it? And at the shows I did in Alaska and at Zeal, which was a show we did over in not Massachusetts, it was in New Hampshire. Like those were crowds that just wanted to turn up, like they just wanted to jump,
Facts.
and so that was kind of the vibe. And so after Alaska, I was like, okay, maybe I should start making my live sets more of that kind of vibe. And then I opened this last month. I got to open for this artist Gremlin, and I went for that vibe. I had a bunch of my friends at the show. We went for the turn up thing and people loved it. But I realized the other artists performing, like Gremlin, they do more of like a laid back, chill set where they just give a really good performance. And I was like,
Yeah,
shoot, I didn't really like fit the vibe of the show, but there was still a lot of people getting into it. So it's kind
I
of,
mean, shoot,
I
dude.
guess it works.
Sometimes it's possible those people went home and were like, the opener kind of went crazy. You know, like if it
That's
was
true. You never
different,
know.
you never know. But
I think it's
Yeah.
super interesting too. Like if you look at like people, like Montel Fish and how he does his sets are like super chill, and like I think, uh, like sometimes he brings like a bed or he has just like a stool and he'll like sit and just play his guitar, or like sets like that are super chill. And I think Matt, with this like album coming out, and like you have like a sound that can be more like that, where it's kind of like a stand and you're like swaying a little bit, and where you could like people could like sing to the songs. I think it's all about like the type of environment that you build for
Yeah.
your shows, and it's
bro,
like I think it changes all the time.
Matt be getting the shotties to sway, bro.
Make
No
them
cap.
full throttle, baby.
Yeah, full throttle is like impossible to perform unless you're like.
Bro, I
quick as you
figured it out though. I added the
It
stupid
goes
like
hard.
Tyga clap,
Oh
and
yeah,
I make him clap on the. You'll see, bro. You'll see. Oh wait, will you? Are you gonna be in Nashville next month?
bro. I don't know the details, but yes.
Well, the details aren't confirmed yet, so I'm not even gonna
Is it in
say what.
January? Would it be in January?
The unconfirmed date is January 20th right
Okay,
now.
good. I'll be good, man. I'll be good.
But if this happens, I'm definitely doing full throttle because Roscoe will be there.
I'm
Titus will
going
be
full
there.
throttle on you,
Bro, I'll have them
I'm going
both do
full
their
throttle
verses.
on you, Matt.
Yep.
This is what we need to edit out.
This is perfect. This is content.
Content, bro.
But no, yeah. Shoot, bro.
I'm
See,
stupid.
now when I try to make songs, I'm like, anytime I find a fire beat that's like 90 BPM, I'm like, shoot, how am I gonna do this live? But I'm also kind of changing my sound right now to more of like a pop. I still do R&B stuff too, but like less rap. But the thing is, we go to these shows, and I think the vibe everyone kind of wants is to like turn up. And so I end up doing like old songs or unreleased rap songs.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a weird balance because we also like Titus and I make a lot of music and we put out a lot of music. And so it's kind of difficult to figure out which songs we want to do. But I just realized me and Titus are both going to be there, so we can do Killing Me. We could do some of the unreleased stuff. But yeah,
It's hard too because Killing Me is like what 185. So
No,
you're
no,
right
no.
around that like.
Killing Me is like 130. It's perfect.
Oh, is it really?
I did it at my last show just on my own. I just sang Titus's parts, and I had
It's perfect.
3 or 4 people like come up to me that were like already knew my music, but they were like, I didn't even know what song this was. It was fire. What is it?
Bro,
Damn,
it's an
really?
anthem, bro. It's like
It is.
one more thing.
I think it's
bro.
one of the best songs you guys have ever made, and it sucks because I feel like it does not deserve or does not get the attention that it deserves.
You know what I was thinking about though is I think every artist has their song that's like the most creative song that they love, but it doesn't turn out the way it didn't stream the way they were hoping. Like, do you remember JP when there's a train going by when Nick D dropped?
That's outside my apartment.
Yeah, when Nick D dropped Minefield, he was hyping it up, which he doesn't normally do. Like it was his best song ever. And it definitely did well. I'm sure it did fine. But he made it sound like it was his next huge hit, and then it just wasn't.
Right.
And it's not to say it was a flop, but that was killing me for Titus and I. We were like, this has to be the best song we've made so far.
Facts.
Like by far.
Yeah.
Like especially like that's the catchiest chorus Titus has ever written. I just have a verse on there, but I was like, the Cade's production was crazy and it was so
Facts.
different. I was like, that's the thing. It was different. But that might also be what kind of shot itself in the foot is that I don't know if people in our scene were trying to hear Matt Mogg and Titus on like a 80s/2000s sounding pop beat.
Yeah, there's always like, it's always tough because you kind of try to strike a balance of like what people want, but then also like you're trying to make the best music that you can make. And I feel like that's kind of what's turned into like the key to making these new pop songs that are kind of doing well on reels and stuff. It's like you do want to make a good like catchy song, but you can't do too much. Like a lot of these songs are pretty simple, but also there is a craft to kind of perfecting them at the same time.
No, totally. That's something I've been thinking about a lot with this album. Is this album was like my passion project. I made a sound I wanted to make. It was like not caring about what like how people would receive it. And it, you guys know the artists that it's definitely inspired by, and there's some of my favorite artists, but not a lot of the people that inspired this project are like necessarily big people. Like, it's more so like my artists that I listen to that inspire production and stuff like that. Like it's the type of artist that's your favorite artist's favorite artist, if that makes sense.
For sure.
But they're not very like popular to the masses. And so I like that kind of music. I also like Olivia Rodrigo, and I also like Nick D, and I also like Drake. I also like Tate McRae. I also like easy listening, whatever you want to call it. Like I like all kinds of music. And so I want to make all kinds of music. I want to make a project like this where it took me 1.5 years and it's really low-key emo. It's like kind of sad and all this production and stuff like that. But I also want to make like fun pop songs that some people might describe as easy listening. You know what I mean?
You know. Yeah, for sure. Speaking of that, we got one.
We do got one. Shout out to Cole Tyndall. We should get him on this podcast.
Yeah, bro, he's so fire. I've been following him for a couple years, and yeah, we got one for sure.
Yeah. No, definitely. Be on the lookout. Definitely going to be dropping a lot of music this year. I know JP is going to have 1 million production credits, and he's going to outstream all of us again. That's crazy.
So. Kodak voice. I hope
so. No, yeah. Okay, we talked about our Spotify Wraps earlier, but we didn't talk about like as artists. JP, you did a lot of collabs, and so you worked with Noah Andres on a bunch of projects. I did some co-artist stuff with you. Titus did some co-artist stuff with you. You dropped an album with some of your bros. So what was it kind of like for you? Were you expecting your streams to be high, or were you not really thinking about that because you're, I don't know, just doing your thing on the production?
Yeah, so it's like it's weird for me as far as like promotion to like say this is my song because I'm not saying a single word on it, but it still like kind of is my song.
Right. You're
Um,
doing at least half the work.
right. Yeah. Um, and shout out to all the loop makers that I'd be subscribing to
Oh yeah.
because they be putting in work. AOE Beats, Gavin Hadley, a lot of people. But aside from that, I think I definitely didn't go into it like this is going to get a ton of streams or whatever. But me and Noah just kind of decided like this is how much we want to push, this. And Noah's definitely got a little bit of Spotify clout and stuff that helped. And we also got a few solid features that helped. Obviously, like 350 on Bingo, Jude
Oh yeah, that's
on
right.
Jude on One More Thing, Jude on Hold Me Back with Roscoe. And those are like really easy ways to get organic plays from Release Radar, especially when the artist isn't dropping a song that week, because then all the fans of that artist, that song gets put at the top of their Release Radar because the artist isn't dropping a song. And so that definitely like helped the streaming numbers a lot. I say when people ask me about it, because it kind of looks like crazy, but it's like it was just the perfect storm of like just dropping a ton of music, and a lot of it just doing decent, at least. So
No, yeah. That's dope. That's sick because as a producer, um, I don't know how many drops you had. Like I don't know if you counted, but
it's like a little over 30, maybe something like
is
that.
that 30 main artists? Is that 30 including just like songs you
30,
produced and maybe didn't
30
get
just
credited?
main.
Okay,
Yeah.
just main. Yeah, and then on top of that, I'm sure it was way more if you include just songs you produced.
Yeah.
Which is sick because like in a world where a Spotify stream only gets you 0.00 whatever streams, if you as a producer, you can kind of start to build your catalog and have all these songs you produce for like getting small percentage of the splits, but like over time and that can really like add up.
Facts. Yeah.
And
I mean,
is that kind of a goal?
that's definitely the hope. I mean, especially when you build with an artist. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but like when you build with an artist, and you like kind of build that together, as they start getting bigger, you want that big catalog that people can dive into. And that's just starts helping having that big back catalog.
Yeah, totally.
And so like I think that's definitely kind of a goal, just like putting in a lot of work and just kind of seeing what happens with it. And there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, that's sick. Okay, so for both of you guys, who are some artists you haven't worked with in music that you want to work with?
You go, Caleb.
Just
I've been talking too much.
Like all time, or just like currently in our space.
I'm gonna say
within
realistic,
reach?
but don't have me limit realistic to like say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Set your goals
I
big.
mean, I don't know about like artists specifically, but like our friend Gabe or A Young Jordan, like I really want to work on some more stuff with him.
He's crazy.
Yeah, because he's the stuff he makes is incredible, and he's such a funny dude. So like I think doing that would be really sick, and I think me and Channel 62, we haven't like really made a whole lot of stuff together, but like I think that's coming hopefully in this next year.
We need to drop that remix, Caleb.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the cover I did for it, but
oh, I didn't actually. I'll look after this.
It's in the chat, yeah. But
okay,
yeah, I don't know. There's like I don't have super huge musicals I think for this next year, but I think just kind of being around and whenever like and being there for whenever I'm needed is kind of like my goal in terms of like working with people. And then obviously I still want to hop in every once in a while and work with you guys, but
Sir.
yeah.
No, Caleb's too big time for us now.
Right.
No.
JP, what about you? Who are some people you want to work with this coming year?
For sure, Logue. We've been like, at least I've been like definitely trying to get a song with him. I think it's definitely got to be like the right one.
Yeah.
And shout out to Logue because he gave me an alley oop on "Burn for You" by Geo. I did a few like
That's
counter
right.
melody stuff, and
Yeah.
that's like it's got like 500K. Geo's going crazy right now. It's like my biggest song I've ever produced on.
That's crazy. Yeah, shout out to Geo too.
Yeah, so I'd love to get one with Geo, Logue, all those guys, really, Jordan Richard. A little bit bigger than that, there's an artist in Nashville. His name is V Wills, and he is crazy. He's like my favorite
fire.
artist right now. He's like, I hate country music, but he's like dropping like fire country rap bangers. And he's blowing up. That might be a little more unrealistic, but he's going crazy right now. I love Contra Dash. He's blowing up. I'd love to get one with him if I was able to. There's definitely some more people I'm forgetting, but those are really like kind of the inspiring type of artists to me. Like kind of make little pop songs that are still hard, you know.
Yeah, no, that's fire.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Rap Finds posted like a thing the other day, which by the way, shout out to Sean. He was like, who wants to work with JP in 2023? And so there was a few answers on there I didn't expect, like Kai Lazit, who I don't know if y'all know him. He was crazy, but he's like self-produced. So working with self-produced artists is always like super fun. I'd love to get one with him. I've never even like DM'd him, but that would be sick. And also just working with Sean, because he's got like a plethora of artists that follow him and respect him. And I've kind of built a relationship with Sean where we can maybe get some new sort of co-releases going with that. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, Sean's the GOAT. I was literally talking to him like 30 minutes before we started this call. But one of the things we were talking about, I don't know if he mentioned it to you, JP, but about a project we might be working on for this coming year with Noah.
Yeah, he mentioned something like that.
I don't want to go too deep into that, but no, that would be super cool. Shout out to Sean. I think he was talking about, he posted this the other day and we were chatting about it. He might be switching Rap Finds to Finding Sounds. So if you see Finding Sounds on your timeline, guys, don't be confused.
I saw that he had posted something like that about like, you know, maybe rebranding or something like that. But
yeah. I mean, to be honest, Sean's a little bit of a pop boy now, so he likes his pop, so that's a little bit, you know.
Yeah. At first, I was like, don't change because Rap Finds is such a catchy name, but he told me some people have been confused, and I was like, that makes sense. If you're a pop artist and you're getting posted on Rap Finds, it's kind of confusing.
Just change it to Sean's Songs.
Sean's personal listening library.
LLC.
Oh, yep, exactly.
JP, how many beats this last year have you produced while on the toilet?
Yo, honestly,
have you actually done that?
Yes, 100%. Dude, I don't waste time. I do not waste time. So a lot of them, it's not like start to finish. It's like I'm working on a beat. I have to take a dump, and I'm not letting that stop me. You know what I'm saying?
Like, no, you have
to. Do you like wipe down your computer afterwards? Because you have to, right? Like, or at least occasionally. Because I feel like
no. But if you think about it, as long as you're on the computer and you wipe last, as long as you don't wipe and then go back.
I usually use the computer as the toilet paper.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's my typical. And then as I'm cleaning off the keyboard, it like hits all the, puts a snare in the right spot. Hi-hats, all that.
I knew it.
Creativity. But honestly, if I'm guessing, at least 5. Probably more like 10.
Did any of them get placed? Are there any of them songs we know about?
I wouldn't even know. It's just like normal to me. Like,
he's unfazed.
Bro, Bingo could have been straight from the toilet.
I mean, the 808 kind of sounds like it.
That 808 is crazy. Yeah, no cap. That's
funny.
That is an outstanding question, Caleb.
That was, I will say.
Also, okay, Roscoe knows about this, but I feel like Pavlov's dog. When I get a FaceTime from y'all, I just have to pee. Like it's just inherent. I don't know what drives me to do that, but it's like I answer the phone.
Is it just from us specifically? or is it any FaceTime call?
It's sometimes other people, but it's like with y'all, it's like a 99% success rate.
No,
Let's go.
it's always funny when you're on a FaceTime call, you see someone put their phone down and they're like in the corner, and then you just hear the noise, and you're like,
The
okay,
noise.
the noise.
So one time, like when me and Titus were not good at music, we were making music at his parents' house, and we really wanted like the rain hitting the windows type of sound, and we just didn't know how to do it, and so we went and recorded his brother peeing in the toilet, and that sound almost made AM. You know that song,
Yo,
Matt? Like the
actually,
first one you
that's
ever
one
heard?
of the that's one the reason I first messaged you guys is because of it was AM, and then there was another song on that
Rollerblades.
project, right? Yeah,
Rollerblades.
Rollerblades.
Mhm.
That's so funny.
That
Okay,
was-
just the simple fact that you guys were like, I want that rain effect, and it wasn't raining, so you didn't record it, but you then didn't decide to like look up on
Look it
YouTube
up.
sound
No
effect.
chance.
You were just like, what if we sample?
We're OGs, bro.
So
That's so
why did it
funny.
not make the song? Did it just
It
not
was
sound like rain enough?
Well, we didn't know how to mix, and it was so loud. Like it was.
You're like, never did you think I should turn this down?
I mean, we tried, but it was just like like it was mess. It just sounded terrible. Like
I bet it was like really weirdly like big on the EQ spectrum. You know what I'm talking about? Like there's probably a lot of like,
hey, yo.
I just don't know how that would fit in.
Yo.
I bet it was huge.
Maybe like 4 whole dB.
Or what's
That's average.
average? Like 5 dB?
-6.
Negative 6 dB. But
Not a sheep, baby.
not a sheep. The best podcast in the
Be
world.
back.
No, but Caleb, what's the weirdest place you've made a beat from?
That's a great question. I definitely have, like, I think once or twice, like, been in kind of a groove and I've been like, gotta take a dump. Like, it's definitely happened on the toilet before. Just like, what, Matt?
I just remembered. I wrote "That's on You." My verse is super short, but I wrote that when I was pooping in
Good job, bro.
Roscoe's grandma's house.
Bro, creativity. Shout out to Granny, by the way.
Granny, let's
Granny,
go.
legendary food. The
Yeah.
Italian grandma making us the homemade pizza. Anyway,
Yeah.
keep going, Caleb.
Other than that, like, I really can't think, like, most of the time, like, I've made beats a couple times in cars, but otherwise it's normally like I remember I had the flu. It was finals week. I had the flu and I was stuck in my dorm because it was like in the middle of COVID. And that's when I made like 2022, like the beat for that.
Fire beat.
Bro.
That's like one of the best beats in my whole catalog.
Caleb had a Jordan flu game.
Literally, bro. Yeah, the flu game.
But like that wasn't necessarily a weird spot. So I don't really know because it's normally just like in my room or like in my brother's room back at my mom's house in Oregon. Like other than that, it's not too spicy. So
Have you guys ever tried to work on your laptop in the car? I always think I can do it, and then I want to die. I feel so car sick. And
really,
I don't know. I hate that feeling. And then I hate the feeling of your laptop like getting hot in your lap,
yeah.
and then you're in the car sick. It's just I don't know. It's the worst.
I have a problem because when I'm working on my laptop in the car, I'm never in the like driver's seat or on that side of the car. Like I'm always in like the passenger seat, and my elbow is always like banging up against the door, and I feel like I'm
Yep, I
struggling
hate
with
that.
that.
Mhm.
But-
If I was a lefty with the mouse, I feel like it would be so much better. But are actual left-handed people? They don't use their left
They're
hand on the
not
mouse, do
real.
they?
They're not real.
They're just
They
not
don't.
real.
Not even real.
Period.
They're faking. They're 100%
I once thought I
faking.
had a coworker that was left-handed and he had a left-handed mouse, but it just turns out he wasn't real.
He didn't actually
That's-
exist. It was Fight
Yeah.
Club.
Dude.
No, but I don't know. Like, just imagine you pull up on someone and their mouse is on the left side of the keyboard. That just doesn't make sense.
You start typing like this.
Or like, does anyone use? Because on your keyboard you have 2 shift keys. Have you ever used the right one?
Yeah, I do all the time.
I
Maybe
don't.
that's
also
because
work
I
an
don't know how to
office
type
job.
properly.
I don't. Dude, I don't use a mouse. Kill me.
What do
I
you
don't use a
use?
mouse.
Oh, the
Me
Trackpad.
neither.
trackpad.
I use a
Okay.
trackpad, dude.
Dude, this
Like,
Yeah,
I
I
got
like
the
the trackpad more,
strongest like
honestly.
tendons in my finger from the, you know what I'm saying?
from the trackpad. Dude,
From the
JP, we have it's a whole generation of graphic designers that have only used the trackpad.
bro, it's tough, but honestly, it's really accurate. Like I tried a mouse once, and it's so inaccurate when you move.
No, I
Like
know.
it takes so long. The
It's
trackpad
honestly
is so
awful.
like specific.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, okay. I don't know because I'm not in Photoshop very often, or I'm not in Illustrator very often, or whatever you guys use. But in like Logic, I know, or any DAW, with an Apple trackpad with the two fingers, you can zoom in, you can scroll down, you can scroll left and right. Like it's so much easier. I have a mouse and I use it for most things, but I'm constantly switching back and forth with the trackpad. I don't know. I wish I had the Apple like smart mouse. You know what I'm talking about? Because that functions as a trackpad as well, like with the zooms and stuff, but it's also a mouse.
yeah, dude, the trackpad just makes everything simple for me. But
Yeah, I would say the same. But I also don't use like Logic, so like I struggle with like a scroll bar when I'm in FL. So
Wait, but could you not do, does it not let you do like a zoom up and down? Oh, see,
no, because
I feel like I'd be handicapped.
Well, because I also don't have like I have the Mac where it's got the like touch bar at the top, so I don't have like F keys, and so like it's all type of like screwy for like when I work in FL. It just like you're just handicapped in so many ways, other ways, or like anyways, because you can't have hotkeys on because then like it's just a mess. So
Dang, that sucks. See, there was a whole thing a couple months ago about producers saying, don't use FL on the Mac. It doesn't hit as hard. And I remember trying to figure out what they meant by that. And I'm like, there's just no way that's true. I looked into it, and apparently the whole thing was FL, like the regular version on Windows, has like a soft clipper just
Right,
naturally
does.
on the output.
It does.
And then the Mac one just, the default setting didn't. And so that means we had some of the like best producers in the world that didn't know there was like a soft clipper on the output of all their beats. But if you think about it, if you export stems, which is what you would do, like it's not on there.
It might be. I don't know.
I mean, so on the master track, you have a limiter that is just always on there. But whenever like I send out a master or I'm doing like, yeah, when I send on a master, I'm always throwing on a soft clipper anyways. So like, I don't know. I've never like, it's never really been a difference for me, but.
No, I just thought it was funny because it was like such a myth that there's just no way there was truth to it. And I don't know. It's funny because there's definitely a variety of producers and people in the music industry in general that like know a lot about music or know a lot about production that are super successful, and ones that know nothing that are super successful. I think it's kind of cool because like, I mean, between the three of us, none of us know anything about music theory and we're doing music and we're making songs every day versus like, I don't know, like we know a lot about production though. And that's kind of how we get by.
Stuff like that.
I don't know if JP can hear me right now. He's currently not showing up on my computer.
Are you for real? Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you, JP.
Am I
What
back?
are some, I'll just let you guys answer this one. What are some goals for 2023? Can be whatever you want. Music, can be life.
I think a goal for me is I'm gonna try to find Matt a girlfriend and then lighten up.
Good luck, buddy.
Realistic goals, Caleb.
Yeah, we're setting realistic goals, Caleb.
Sorry, I didn't hear that part because JP cut out. I don't know. I kind of said this earlier, but I don't really have any super like. I don't have anything set up for 2023, except for maybe like a couple small things that we've talked about doing. So like Channel and I have talked about doing a project at some point. But other than that, like I don't know. I think this year's been kind of like overwhelming for me a bit. Like I wrecked my car and like school has been really expensive. So like I'm pretty content with just like taking a really chill year to get myself right. But I don't know. That's pretty much it for me. Is like, I just want to take a little bit of a breather, which I think is cool and fine. So
No, that makes sense. Yeah, you got to make sure you're doing okay outside of music, in order to actually be able to do it in the first
For
place.
sure.
Yeah, JP, what about you?
Yeah, so I'm hitting like a weird kind of stage of life, I guess. Like I'm about to graduate in the spring with like a engineering degree, and it's not music engineering. It's like
He's a real engineer, guys. He's
it's
actually
like
smart.
sometimes, but
he said, "Hello, sir. Let me build you this bridge."
yeah, facts. So
In
Golden
that
Gate
voice.
was JP.
yeah, and I've got like work lined up and stuff like that, but music is like what I'm like more passionate about overall. Like I feel like the type of guy I am, I've always had a side hustle no matter what I'm doing. Like I always had something that I'm always working on, even when I was like in middle school and stuff like that. And so I don't think that I'll ever stop that necessarily. I think probably a goal, and this would be shooting low, at least drop like 20 co-releases. I'd love to match like about 30. Um, but realistically, I can't control like that whole aspect. So I can just send out as many beats and try to make that stuff happen, but you can't force a song. So I think probably like 20 co-releases and just keep working with the guys I've been working with, Noah, Titus, Matt, Roscoe, and then try to branch out a little bit, if anybody wants to do that. So
Hit his line.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I like those. Those are good goals, guys. Those are I think we're gonna have a good year coming up. I feel like I'm kind of in a similar place, JP, where just of like we're both 22.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like figure out my life. Just started a new job like outside of music, which has been helpful to like allow me to have more time where I can just focus on music and not have to worry about money. But figuring out how can I continue to get better at music and how can I continue to grow like my platforms as an artist so that hopefully one day it can actually make some money and make a living, which I'm sure we'll dive into that in like a bunch of different
For
episodes,
sure.
like the ins and outs of marketing, the ins and outs of just trying to make money. But guys, thank you for joining me. The Not a Sheep podcast is back. I'm going to bleep that out and it'll sound like I actually said it, but we're back bit. But yeah, thank you guys. If there's anything else you want to say, go for it. JP, I'll let you go first.
Shoot, I mean, it's a long time coming. I'm glad Matt finally grew a brain cell and let me on the podcast.
Grew a pair.
Nah, but yeah, I'm liable to say something stupid. Hopefully that's entertaining to y'all. But shoot, for the two JPX fans that are on here, I love y'all, and I'll see you in the next episode? ?
Oh yeah, and where can they follow you? Where can they follow you?
jpxprince art on IG is the main one, and on Spotify it's just jpxprince.
Yes, sir. Okay, Kayla, what about you?
I don't know. I mean, I just say I hope that Matt lets us back on here after this. No, but
I don't know. Yeah, no, I will.
we will be back every single week for the next 12 to 18 years.
Yep, just set it up like that.
And we are all contractually obligated to go all the way out. No way, no wiggle room.
So here's what's gonna happen. Caleb says he's gonna find me a girlfriend, and we're gonna drop podcasts every week for 12 to 18 years. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm locked in.
Realistic goals, baby.
I'm locked in.
And Caleb, where can they follow you?
On Instagram, audiovisual Caleb, and on all platforms, like music platforms for it's audio Caleb.
Yes, sir. Guys, if you want to follow us on Instagram, that's NAS Podcast. Follow us on TikTok as well. If you want to see the video version, go over to YouTube and just look up Not a Sheep Podcast. Yes, sir. We'll see you again next week. Peace.